Hello everyone and welcome back. This is another video in the Windows Form .NET tutorial series. Okay, so till now we have completed how to build a pretty static application because that application was not communicating with my server. It was simply running on its own and providing static implementation and communicating with the button and the events and that all stuff. So now what I want to do, I want my application, I'm sorry, I want my user to communicate with the server of the application. Namely, he requests something, he asks for something, and if that stuff is present in my application or present somewhere, it is stored and it is present there, then an automatic response will be given to the user. Yes, it is present, and yes, this stuff is present. Or if he wants to give some information that he wants application to store. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to implement a database in my application now. A database is a very beneficial medium for the storage and retrieval of data, because every application in the world now implements a database in one form or another, because everyone needs to store information, needs to retrieve information, needs to update information, needs to delete any information. And same with any of the system that I'm going to implement here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to embed a database in my application, and then my user will communicate with the application through that database. Whatever the stuff he requests, he will get it. Whether he wants to store any stuff, he will store it in the application. Whether he wants to retrieve any stuff, he can retrieve any stuff from the application. So the medium that I will be using to implement my database is SQL Server. There are other mediums available, namely SQLite, MySQL, or any other medium that you would like. You can also implement Firebase as well if you want real-time database application. But now, since I'm implementing a local application that will only just run on my desktop or any other desktop that will host it, so I will be implementing SQL Server in this application. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to connect your SQL Server to Visual Studio and to your application, and how to use it by writing a simple one line or two line code and connecting it through your credentials. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's start. Yeah, so here I am in my Visual Studio. Till the previous videos, I only implemented and showed you how to develop a simple application using some events or some text boxes and other stuff. Now I would like to implement a database in my application and use my database to make my application pretty dynamic. So first of all, before implementing the SQL before implementing any database functionalities, let's implement the database first. Okay, so what I will do, I will remove everything right now. Okay, so there is an event available, which is the event of the form. The name of that event is form load event. What this event does actually is that the first thing that starts when your application starts will be this event, the form one load. When as At the instance that this form loads up, this event will automatically trigger this event form one load. So what you have to do is go to this event, and this event will be created here right now. Okay, so what we will do is we will implement our database in this form load event, so that whenever the form loads up, the first thing will be the form that loads up, the database is automatically switched on here. So that's what I will be going to do. So I don't have to implement database on every other event. I will implement it on the form load, and it will automatically and give access to the entire form, give the database access to the entire form. So that's what I'm going to do. So first, how will you embed your SQL Server database here? You will go to the tools option, and in the tools option you will simply go to connect to database. There are many instances available, many data sources available. What you have to select is Microsoft SQL Server, because as I told you, I will be implementing it in the SQL Server. We'll continue with this. Okay, so SQL client data source is available right now. Okay, so server name. What you have to do in the server name is that whatever the server name is of your local SQL server, you can check it out as well. You can simply open up your SQL Server Management Studio. Here it is, my server name. this is the instance that I installed my SQL server with, my server. So simply copy entire this entire server name here, and again go to Visual Studio and paste your server name here. So another thing, the authentication process. How do you log on to the server? If you log on to the server through Windows authentication, if you had authenticated on Windows, then you don't have to do anything else. You simply have to just select database, which you have already created. You have to simply select a database. But because I have authenticated my server on SQL Server authentication, so I have to type in the login as well as the password here. So I will select the SQL Server authentication and I have to type in the login and the password. The password here. Okay, so as soon as I have given the authentication, I will go towards a test connection button. Login failed, so I think I have provided the wrong password here. So I have given the right password here and test connection, it succeeded. The test connection has succeeded. And now you can check all of the databases that you have created in your SQL server. All of them will be present here on the server that you created your database with. So I have created a lot, these master model MSDB, these are and TempDB, these are my default databases that SQL were given me. The custom databases that I have created are SADB, TestDB, and company. So I'll be using the company database here. Okay, so as soon as I click OK, in the server explorer you will notice that there pops up a data connection, and the data connection is this one. My default schema DBO and my company database is present here. So I have successfully embedded my SQL server in my Visual Studio. Still my database is not connected to my application. I have to do it with a line of code. So what will I do? I will go to the load event here. In this load event, you have to do, there's a namespace that you have to call here. The class is SQL connection, and the namespace is this one, system.data.sql client. So uh, only you have to do is at the top just include the namespace, or you can do something like this. You can write the entire class here and go. There's a light bulb that pops up here, and you have to do system.SQL client. Okay, create the object and the SQL Server connection. Okay, so there are at least three overloads of this class. What you have to do is we have to provide the second overload. That is enough. The connection string. So where will you find the connection string? The connection string is default your default database connection string, that the property that is given to you whenever you embed your SQL Server database with Visual Studio. Whichever database you've embedded, everyone has its different connection string, different property. Okay, so connection string here is a property. You simply have to what you have to do is you have to copy this entire connection string and go towards your Visual Studio and simply, and because it requires a string argument, you have to provide it in inverted commas and provide it with this. So here you go. Your connection string is now activated here. Uh, if there is a literal error like this, you have to unrecognized space sequence, just simply give in another backslash and it's okay. So what you have to do is simply you have to now set your connection to open, and that's it. Now whenever the form loads, as soon as the form loads, your connection will be open and open for work. Oh, there's some errors. Oops, I forgot to remove the connections from the methods from here, the events from here, so I will remove that. Yeah, so no errors right now. Connection is opened up for work, and then let's just start it. Yeah, there's one problem. There's an other error which will pop up, and it will tell you the login has failed for user SA. The error being is that the password in this string that's given here, the default connection string, you have to specify the password as well, because the password is being read through this string. So you don't have to give this static. You have to type in your correct password. So what you will do, you can do two things. You can either provide a variable here. You can either provide a variable like this one. You have a string pass variable. Write the password in this one and simply provide the variable here. You can do again this stuff, or you can directly provide your password here. So what I will do is I will directly type in my password here. There are other methods if you don't want to compromise your privacy. There are other methods available which I will show later on during the videos. But right now I'm just typing in my password here. So as soon as I type in the password, I will start the video. So I've typed in my password and now I will start this again the application. So it's running, yeah. As soon as it starts, now my SQL Server connection is open and it's ready for business. Okay. So that's it. That is how you connect your SQL Server to Visual Studio and how you connect your database to your application. And now you can successfully work with your database because there's no exception that has popped up or no error that has popped out. So I can assume my connection is successful and ready to work with. Okay, so in the next video, I will try to implement any system and then I will work with the system to create a CRUD application, a create, read, update, delete application. So yeah, I will see you in the next video. Till then, that's enough for now. Okay, thank you so much.